We started a new sermon series a couple weeks ago called Soul Rest. How many here need soul rest? Amen. We all do, because we live in a culture that breeds us not to have soul rest. So I want you to start thinking about, just in our intro this morning, what is your favorite sandcastle that you've ever built or seen? So my kids, you know, it's as your kids grow up, there's these phases of childhood. I have one child left in the sandcastle phase, and I'm hanging on as long as we can, right? But we always pack the sandcastle gear whenever we go to the beach, and I've seen some pretty cool sandcastles out there as well. This is one that I built. I built that on spring break last year, so it's a hobby of mine. I use this and a few other tools. I don't know if you've ever seen sandcastles like this. It's pretty amazing. Come on, really? Like, this guy's cheating. I don't know how that's a sandcastle, but it is somehow. You can find some crazy sandcastles on Google Images if you look for them. There's a lot of stuff that's not even really a castle. I mean, that's clearly a dragon, a sand dragon, but very cool. I mean, that's amazing. This is my favorite sandcastle of all that I have pictured. So those are my kids. Probably a couple years ago, it looks like. Not really making a sandcastle, but just kind of playing with sandcastle toys and being very cute. What part of the beach do you need to build a sandcastle on? If I show you this picture, what part of that picture would you build your castle on? It's a trick question. You're right. None. You would not build your sandcastle on any part of this beach, because if you did, what's going to happen? Boom! The water's going to come and that castle's going to get destroyed, right? If you look at a beach, any beach, this clearly is some ocean somewhere, or, Lake Michigan would be the same. You have the water out here, and the deeper you go, the deeper it is, right? And then you have this area of kind of in between where the waves go in and out, and the sand there is darker. You could play in that sand, but it's going to get hit with a wave over and over and over again. You got to get up on the beach, right? You got to get up where that white sand is, up where the dry sand is. That's where you need to go to build the castle, because if you build it down where the waves are, it'll never, ever stand. And so I want to say something about soul rest. That soul rest is similar to that concept of where you have to build a sandcastle. We're doing a soul rest sermon series, but the irony is you cannot learn soul rest from a sermon. So I'll say that one more time. We're doing a soul rest series of sermons, but the irony is you cannot learn soul rest from a sermon. And the reason is you're in church, which is great. You made it, awesome. Right now the waves are back temporarily, right? Like right now the waves are going back, and we're in this wet sand. But as soon as you leave today, as soon as you go back to your home, back to your life, back to work, whether you work today or you work tonight or you work tomorrow, guess what's coming next? Boom, right? Like you built your castle, you're going to rest with the Lord, and then real life is coming. Real life is coming at you. How many of us, and clearly this person built some kind of cool moat, which is cool, but that sandcastle's not going to last. It's getting destroyed, right? It's getting destroyed. All right, how many of you in this room right now feel this way about your next week? When you look at next week, you look at tonight, you look at tomorrow, this is the feeling you get. Like, I'm here with Jesus now. I've built my little 3, buckets worth of castle. I got my time with him. I'm holding out as long as I can, but I know that the boom is coming. It's coming, right? It's coming. That's life. That's real life. That's the life that we live in. So We're going to break you back into your discussion groups. If you're new, we do this every week. We're going to do this to get you warmed up for the sermon content. Nothing here that will be threatening or you have to know anything special to answer these. The first one, what is the best sandcastle you've ever built or seen? We were out in, I think it was Ocean City, Maryland, and there was like a sandcastle contest. And like there were people really building these things. Have you ever seen one of those? There was some really cool sandcastle art. There was some Jesus sandcastle art. I mean, it was pretty cool. So just talk through that. Maybe you yourself have built some cool sandcastles. But then try to get to the second one. Spend most of your time here. And I'll explain the question in case I worded it poorly on this one. Why does trying to find true rest in life often feel like building a sandcastle in 2 feet of ocean waves? Okay, so picture trying to build a sandcastle in 2 feet of ocean waves. Can you guys picture that? 2 feet of waves, they're up to here, and you're trying to build a castle. Why does life feel that way when you're trying to find rest? You're trying to find deep soul rest, and it feels like that. Try to talk about that. We'll give you 5 minutes to break back into your groups. Reshuffle if you need to with our teens. The left, you may need to shrink some of those really huge groups so you can get everyone around. So feel free to shrink if you need to, and then I'll be back in 5 minutes. The 2 feet of ocean wave question. Why does it feel like trying to find true rest feels like building a sandcastle in 2 feet of ocean waves? There's Lake Michigan waves would be similar to this if that's your context. But ocean waves never stop. If you go to the beach, the waves keep coming and they keep coming and they keep coming. I feel that way in my life. I feel like, okay, this is a hard week. This is a hard thing I have coming up, but I can just get through this wave, then things will calm down. How many of you have said that before? Then things will calm down, and then what happens? Another wave comes, wha-bam, and it hits you. And clearly it's not the wave, it's the ocean. Like it's not you need to get through this wave. It's the ocean. It just keeps bringing the wave over and over. And waves can pound you, right? Like you have to actually be careful. There's times they'll put red flags up on the beach and they say, you can't go in the water right now because you could die. Like these waves can hit you, they can pull you under, and then they pull you out deeper than you ever intended to go, and you're trying to get your head above water. How many have felt that way? Just get my head above water, and you can't, and you finally do, and then another wave puts you under. If you look at this picture, you could never build a sandcastle in this picture. I mean, that's laughable, right? There's no possible way that you could do that. Well, life is similar to the ocean. Life never stops, right? And life can pound you, and life can pull you under, and life can pull you out deeper than you ever intended. In addition to this, all of us, live in a hectic world, in a hectic country, probably the most hectic country that has ever existed on the planet, that rewards achievement. So we reward the more things you can accomplish, the more things you can get done, the more money you can make, the more pies and cakes you can make for your loved ones, the more degrees you have next to your name, the better job you do at work, the happier your boss is with you, you get rewarded. Right? And there's these sort of obvious rewards, and there's the more subtle rewards, and they drive us to go, 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 go. We get rewarded when we never stop. So we never stop. And that's trained into us from a very, very young age. And even when we have time to rest, we don't know how. So that's the other side of the coin. We get time to rest, but it's not soul rest. You see the difference? So here's some stats about how we numb out and we veg out when we get a chance to rest. There's probably a connection between how we beat our brains to death and then when we finally have a minute to not work, we do this. So Americans spend an average of 5.4 hours per day on their phones. Adults 18 and over average 8.5 hours per day on media consumption. So media consumption would be anytime you're watching a screen and it's not work-related, right? So it could be phone, computer, TV. That's a lot of hours per day, right? I mean, we have to go to the bathroom too, right? So if you do the math, you're like, you know we're watching in the bathroom. Let's just be real. Like when we get some confessions in here, I mean, there's no way you can get those stats without taking your screen into the bathroom, right? The average iPhone user touches their screen 2,617 times a day. Okay, so everyone take out your phone real quick and just do this with me. I'm not going to have you do anything, but take out your phone and just count just count 5 touches on your phone. 4, 5. Okay, 2,670. That's a fact. Like, why is it iPhone? Because they actually can track that. This is just a stat of how many fingertips touch a phone in a day. That's a lot, you guys. That's a whole lot. Okay, so when I look at this, I see an investment. I see a time investment that we are pouring into our devices with a belief that they will give us rest. Like there's a belief, and I'm not telling you never watch TV, never use your phone, right? But there's this belief that these things are going to give us something at a deep level of rest. Yet, how many of us are experiencing soul rest from media? How many of us are experiencing soul rest from our devices? Research actually shows the opposite's true. Research shows that devices, particularly social media and phones, they cause depression, they cause anxiety, and they cause loneliness. So there's something really interesting going on with the way our culture has taught us to overwork, but then not taught us how to rest. Pastor Darrell told us about Matthew 11, 28 to 30, okay? And there's a promise from Jesus, and it's a promise that we can find rest in him, okay? This is the verse that he gave us. Now, can anybody read that? Okay. You're not supposed to be able to read it. Yeah, you're not supposed to be able to read it. So when we're out in the ocean, when all we hear is the noise of the waves beating against us, Jesus can say anything he wants to us, and we don't hear it. Or we might hear it in a sermon, and what did I just say earlier? You cannot learn soul rest from a sermon. It's impossible. You can't, because you're in the ocean, you're in the wave, and they're beating against you. The waves are too loud, your head is underwater, and it doesn't matter what promises of soul rest Jesus gives you. And so I want you to be real with me here. If I say you should take an extended, I just mean a few hours, maybe an hour, solitude time with God, what would you say? I want you to get out of your house. I want you to get out into nature. And I'm going to explain it a little bit later, but I want you to picture this week. I want you to get out of your house. I want you to get out into nature. I don't want you to bring anything with you. I don't want you to do anything. I just want you to sit there with God. What would you say? Just answer in your inside. You don't have to tell me. But be honest. Be real about it. This is what I think most of us would say. I am too busy to do that. Like, I do not have an hour of my life or 2 hours of my life that I can get in my car and go somewhere beautiful and sit with God. My schedule is too full. That sounds boring. How would I just sit there with no screen, with nothing to do, and I would just sit? I'm good. Like, I'm actually pretty fine. I don't need this. This is for other people that need stuff like this. I don't. And I realize there's more important things to do. I got more important things to do than that. I got stuff to do. I'm a very important person. I got tasks that I need to get accomplished. And now, further down the list we go, the honesty hurts a little bit more, right? Like the bottom of that list, it's like, and so when we go to God and we say, I don't need solitude time with you, God, because I'm too important to stop. Or God, I'm too strong. I'm not one of those weak people. I've got this. The way I'm doing things is fine. I think we're really honest. That's our answer to God's invitation to unplug and to spend solitude time with him. So up on the screen here, I have 5 passages from the New Testament about Jesus, who is 100% God and 100% human, part of the triune God Trinity. And look at what Jesus did in his earthly ministry. I'm just going to read through them. This is Matthew 14:23. After Jesus had dismissed them, he just did huge miracles. This is after the feeding of the 5,000. He went up on a mountainside by himself to pray. Went up on a mountainside by himself to pray. Later that night, he was there alone. Mark 1:35, very early in the morning, while it was still dark, Jesus got up. He left the house and went off to a solitary place where he prayed. But he did bring his iPhone with him because he had to check his notifications in case the disciples needed him. You know what I'm saying? So he did have his iPhone. If that's in the fine print, if you have a study Bible, it will tell you that. Mark 6:46, after leaving them, he went up on a mountainside to pray. Luke 6:12, one of those days, Jesus went out to a mountainside to pray and spent the night praying to God. John 6:15, Jesus, knowing that they intended to come and make him king by force, withdrew again to a mountain by himself. I'm not accusing you of anything. I know for me, my reason that I say to God of why I can't spend solitude time with him is because I'm too important to need solitude time with him. The stuff I'm doing is too important to stop and take solitude time with God. But Jesus needed it. So when I say I don't need it, Jesus needed it. You see, that's what, okay, we can just stop right there. Wait a second, okay, maybe I should humble myself a little bit here, right? It's sobering, right? It's sobering that Jesus needed solitude time, away from ministry, away from work, away from his disciples, away from his friends, away from the demands of life. Solitude, usually on a mountainside, somewhere out into nature. He got away and he spent time with God. So the year was 2015. I was in my first church plant. I would have been 8-9 years in. The weight of burnout was heavy on my shoulders. And the promise of Jesus that his yoke is easy and his burden is light, I vividly remember talking to, friends confidentially and saying, I don't believe that. That is not true. You guys ever been there before? He says his yoke is easy, burden is light. It's not. My yoke is really heavy and hard. The burden is hard and the yoke, the burden is heavy and the yoke is hard, is difficult. So, like I said, I was in my first church plant, and if you didn't know, as a church planter, your job is to save the world. And if you are an urban church planter, your job is to solve all of the injustices of our country, and if you don't, you're a failure. You didn't know that? You didn't know that that's my job, that's what God expects of me, and that if I don't accomplish that, he's thinks I'm an utter failure? Okay, that's what you believe sometimes. That's what I believe sometimes when I approach ministry. It can feel like my work is so important. We're saving people's lives. I cannot stop this. There's always someone else to help. There's always something more that can be done. Do you see how bad it is out there? We need to rally the troops, and we need to go. It's too important to step away from. So I read this book in 2015. It's called Strengthening the Soul of Your Leadership by Ruth Haley Barton, a friend of mine who was also a pastor. I was telling all this stuff to him, and he gave me this book, and he said, you should read this, and let's talk about it. So I did. And this book was transformational for me because for the first time, it identified what was beneath my striving. So we all have different striving, right? And you may not be a pastor and relate exactly to mine, but we all have different things that we strive after. A lot of it has to do with people pleasing. We want people to think that we are okay, people to be happy with us. We don't have boundaries around what's our limits. I have actually limits as a human. I'm not God. And that's what's great about Jesus is God. He still had limits, right? Jesus, as fully human, had limits. You have limits. I have limits. But I don't listen to those limits because somebody needs me, and I need them to validate my value. I can't have you think that I'm not amazing, so I have to do this thing for you, even though I'm exhausted and I'm on the brink of burnout. And I don't care for myself, and I'm learning I don't love myself the way Jesus loves me. Isn't that wild? Love others the way you love yourself. Well, you got to love yourself first. And if I'm going to receive Jesus' love for me, I have to actually treat myself with the love he has for me. which is not to burn myself out to the point of utter oblivion, because I'm trying to help everybody as if I were the Holy Spirit. Can anyone relate to, right? Okay, so I read Strengthening the Soul of Your Leadership, and I learn about the drives underneath my striving. We'll get into some of that today and perhaps in the rest of this series. But there are these drives underneath me of my false self, of wanting to look like I got it together, wanting to look valuable, wanting to look important, because I didn't know inside who I really was. I didn't know who I really was inside. So what I did is reading that book led me to join Ruth Haley Barton's 2-year retreat cohort. So I'd drive to the Chicago area 4 times a year over a 2-year period. We did 9 retreats, and it was amazing. And this verse, for the first time, emerged from the waves as I was taught how to get up onto the beach to build sandcastles of soul rest with Jesus. And I began to experience that Jesus' yoke really was easy and his burden really was light. And it was beautiful. I could hear his voice, perhaps for the first time, and I experienced his rest. Those retreats kept me from quitting ministry. I learned that there's a different way. There's a different way to operate than what I had always known. But it's kind of like a sabbatical, which I'd also did in 2012, where if you don't change your work and ministry patterns, the sabbatical's great, and then you get back and you go, oh, everything's the same as when I left it, because you're back into the same hecticness. You're back into the same pace. You're back into the same unhealthy insecurities, the same unhealthy strivings of pleasing other people because we think we have to be good when we're already loved by God and we are very secure in that. And so this analogy of the sandcastles out in the ocean versus on the beach, that came to me while I was in these retreats. I'd go on the retreats and they were amazing. I would drive back home to Michigan. I was in Lansing. And I could feel this cloud. It was like a weight as I drove back home going, I don't want the stress again. I don't want the weight of the world on my shoulders again. And the sandcastle I built on the retreat, boom, got hit by the wave. I felt like there's no way I could experience what I did on the retreats in my real life. There's no way, because my real life was the ocean. And so it felt impossible to me. So there's another book by Ruth Haley Barton called Sacred Rhythms. I recommend both of these books. Sacred Rhythms goes through all of the rhythms, the spiritual practices that we learned on these retreats. We'd practice one each time, and for that sort of semester, we would have homework and we would do it. And these rhythms are there to push the water back. When you're in the ocean, you could think of it one of 2 ways. They either get you up on the beach to build your castle, or it's almost like fighting up against the water, where you're pushing the water back with, you use sandbags or walls. We can manipulate where water goes. These push the water back, where we are intentionally creating rhythms where we get out of the wet and we can dry out, right? Where we get out of the water and we can dry out. Some of these rhythms stuck with me. Most of them didn't, because I was just so defaulted back to what I knew. And I defaulted back to this. I just do default back to this. Eventually, I found myself back here. And so, fast forward to 2024, I take a Monday Sabbath every Monday. Some of you know, if you text me, you get my auto reply. I'm not texting. I'm not using my phone, all these things. But I'm very faithful to my Monday Sabbath. In many ways, my Monday Sabbath has saved me by keeping my nose just like right above the water like this. If I just get to Monday. And I do good things on my Monday Sabbath. I do things that I enjoy and fulfilling things, and I spend time with God, but it's inside my house, and it's not that great. It's okay. It's not that lively. It's inside my house. And I started thinking, I do my daily devotions, and they're okay. I started hearing God's invitation to me to get outside and spend time with him. When I experience God, I am outside. I am on a retreat at a lake. I am told, you go take an hour with God. You go take 4 hours with God. Or I one time got the chance to go to the Rockies, and I was by myself on a hike, and it was incredible to be alone, just like Jesus, on a mountainside. And you see God differently. You see God differently in those spaces. I've experienced God consistently in nature, and I'll more on that soon. But I was making excuses with God. This is this year, and I'm saying, God, my way's working. I'm fine here at the house. I got my Monday Sabbath. I'm spending time with you. It was working until it didn't. It was working until it didn't. And God brought me back via my weakness. And my question for you is, when do you know that your way isn't working? Like, when do you know? Pastor Darrell talked about this last week. We have a dash on our car, and it tells you when things are off. When do you know things are off? When do you know things aren't working? Okay? So this time I have you pull your phone out. Pastor Darrell made this survey, and we'd like everyone to take a look at it. And we want just the QR code. Just open your camera and point it at the QR code. It should pull up a link, and we're going to email you this link this week as well. So you can save it you can fill it out now. You can save it into a bookmark. And what this is a self-assessment of where you're at right now. It's confidential to me and Pastor Darrell. We're not going to share it with anyone else. And then you'll get your results as well. It's just kind of a check engine light for you. It's a check engine light on where are you at, and kind of a conversation that you can start with God on what are some next steps for you, what are some rhythms for you to get to take these next steps. If you can't get this to work, we'll put it back up at the end of the sermon, and we'll let you snag a picture of it, or you can go over to the computer where Alan is to do that. So last week, Pastor Darrell mentioned the lyrics of the song "In Christ Alone." Some of you might know these lyrics. What heights of love, what depths of peace, when fears are stilled, when strivings cease. So my question for you is, when I ask you, when do you know you're off? I know when I'm off, when my strivings don't cease. That's when I know I'm off. That's when I know my way is not working. I hate running on treadmills, so I am a runner. I like to run. I hate treadmills. They're brutal. You don't go anywhere. You just look at a wall. Shout out to my church planting coach. Justin's in the house, in the back. This man, he's crazy. He runs like 50-mile races and things like that. You've probably done more than 50, haven't you? Yeah, 50-mile races in the back. Okay, can you imagine doing 50-mile run on a treadmill? I mean, I just can't even imagine, okay? So when I know that I'm off is when I'm on the treadmill, which is striving, because you're not going anywhere. You're working real hard, aren't you? And you're sweating, and you feel like you're going somewhere, and you look around and you're like, wait, I just did this for this person, and now they want me to do this. I just did this for this person, and now they want me to do this. I just did this for this person, and now there's eight more people over here that want me to do that for them. And it's like someone's pushing the faster speed on the treadmill. Go faster, go fast. You're like, I can't. I literally can't. I'm really tired. Stop pushing that button. And they push it more, and they push it more, and they push it more. That's a scary feeling, isn't it? That's when I know that I'm off. It's when my striving is high and my contentment is low. Because when you're striving, you need more and more and more. That's the opposite of contentment, okay? So I told you I resisted the invitation from God, and then God broke me through my weakness. So I won't go through this whole passage. We've been in 2 Corinthians a lot, and God has been using this passage for me in many ways. Let's just look at the highlighted parts where Jesus says to Paul, my power is made perfect in weakness. And so Paul says, when I am weak, then I am strong. I said, okay, God, I'll respond to your invitation to solitude with you in nature. But I really felt like I didn't have a choice. I kind of felt like if your car has all the check engine lights on it and you ignore it, eventually that car is going to break down and you're going to be on the side of the road and you need the Holy Spirit tow truck to come and actually like drag you into the garage. Have you been there? Like drag you to the mechanic shop because you won't go on your own. And I feel like that's where I've been at with the Holy Spirit. And so when striving cease, these are pictures I took. And so for the last 2 weeks on my Monday, I said, okay, God, I'm not going to do my normal Monday schedule. I'm going to take the effort of actually packing up my sandcastle gear, which is annoying. As a father of three, if I would go to the beach much more if I didn't have 3 children that we had to lather up with, an inch of sunblock and bring an umbrella and bring all the toys and bring a cooler of food. Like, do you remember just going to the beach with a beach towel and that was it? If anyone's still doing that, you are a blessed individual. You're probably a guy, and you're blessed, okay? I remember those days. So I don't like going. I don't like packing. I said, fine, God, I'll finally pack up my stuff. On a Monday, I'll finally go out into nature, and I will sit with you. This is the Thornapple River, and I just sat there with God. I took these pictures, and I let him speak to me. And you don't have to go to the Thornapple River to find God. You can go to any river. You can go to a stream. You can go to the woods. You can go to a trail. If you're fortunate, you can go to the mountains or the ocean on a trip. But you know what? You can just go outside and you can look up at the sky. At night, you can go out and look at the stars. You can look at the clouds and lay down on your back and just look. But be still and stop. You will experience detox. It is just like a drug addict or alcohol addict. When they go into detox into the hospital, the body responds. The body shakes because the body says, I need the substance that's been keeping me alive. And it takes a few days, hours, somewhere in between for that to wear off, depending on the individual. We are the same way with our hectic, busy lives. You will go to the woods, you will go to the river, and you will shake, and you will say, I hate this. I don't like this. I'm never going to do this again. Do it. Allow the detox to pass, and then see what bubbles up inside of you. I'm sad because I'm out of time, and I'm going to try to go fast here with some really key things that God has spoken to me these last 2 weeks as I've sat at the river. Number one, the world is less fallen out in creation. It's like the Garden of Eden. It's not broken the way the city is broken. There's not the injustice and oppression everywhere. There's not, you see God's goodness when you're out in creation. Number two, the river is not impressed by my strivings. The river does not care how many people attend Mosaic Church. The river does not care how many people download my podcast. The river does not care about the things I strive for, and the river doesn't care about the things you strive for. If you're in debt and it's stressing you and it's coming, people are coming after you. The river is not coming after you to make payments on your debts. It's not sending you mail. Nobody's knocking at your door at the river. They just don't matter there when it's just you and God and his creation. At the river is where God invited me to be broken, to be weak. He showed me that in my striving, I'm trying to get myself out of my brokenness. I don't want to be weak. I want to show the world that I'm strong. I'm not weak. Look what I can do. And it was here where strivings don't matter that I was able to come to terms with my powerlessness. I cannot save the world. Then I can get assistance from God. Then I could receive my identity as his beloved son, but get this, his broken, beloved son. That I am broken and weak and powerlessness. And it is in that state, when I'm away from my striving, that I can experience God's love just for who I am, without having to perform for him. And lastly, when you think of yourself more highly than you ought, you cannot be content. It's impossible. The greed of the treadmill is insatiable. It will never end. And it's at the river that as I just had no choice but to let go of the striving. It doesn't matter. Like, I'm broken. I cannot fix these things. To go, I'm pretty thankful for what I have. Like, I'm pretty thankful that I have the things I have as a broken person. Oh, I love the verse, be still and know that I am God. I can tell you this in a sermon, but you cannot learn this in a sermon. You can't learn it in a sermon. You have to get out and experience it. Again, I got to go fast here, but I can tell you about Walt Disney World. You try to talk to my wife if you want a positive report. You can talk to me if you want the other side of that. I could tell you about the big house. I can show you pictures, but you cannot experience Disney World or the big house from a sermon. You cannot experience them from pictures. What do you have to do? You have to go there. You have to experience them in real life. Be still and know that I'm God. That's where you can experience that. Not here in a sermon. You got to get out there and you have to do it. I can be still and know he's God because who else made the river? Who else made those little fish I can see? Who else made those leaves change color? I know he's God. And the good news is this is way cheaper than Disney World. Like, well, way cheaper than Disney World. And now I have a memory here. These pictures aren't just pictures. They're an embodied experience. And so here's my list. I'll close here. Take a picture of this if you'd like. This is my advice. I want to give you this as homework. I want to challenge you to do this. Do it as soon as you can. Do it this week. Go. Get outside. Number 2, sit or lay. I love hiking as well. I love walking. But for this, don't hike or walk. You can hike or walk to your spot, but then sit. Don't do anything. Sit. Bible's optional. This is not Bible reading time. You're doing something. Just sit. Encourage you to use the Psalms to maybe springboard. I like Psalm 23. I like Psalm 46. Springboard in to some reflective Psalms and then sit with them. Bring a journal. I like to use the voice recorder app on my phone. But then number 5, don't bring a watch and hide your phone. Put it away. So I'm able to, if I want to record something, I don't look at the clock, and then I throw it back into my little pouch on my bike. And then see what bubbles up in you. And what bubbles up in you is what I want you to give to God. The detox, that's going to show you where your identity is off. It's going to show you where your striving is. Take that to God and let him speak to you. Let him speak to you. So we're going to keep at the Soul Rest series throughout this month, and we'll probably pick it back up again next week. But my prayer for you is that you will experience the love of God in an intentional way, that you will pack up the car, you will get out of your house, you will intentionally go and sit with him to be still, and to know that he is God.